Greetings, African family. I want to greet you in the honorable spirit of our great and mighty African ancestors. I want to say, people, I know I've just started this channel and I need to just introduce myself to you and let you know that I'm a Pan-Africanist and I'm a thinker. I love intellectual discourse. I love studying, I love learning, and I love to understand reality, understand our history. I enjoy science. I enjoy discussing the deeper mysteries of life, understanding how nature works, and I listen to good content. I try to get content that discussing some of the cutting edge issues facing our people. I like to listen to people like Dr. Greg Carr. I think he has a very good grasp of history. He's featured in class with Dr. Greg Carr, and he's on the narrative with a K channel on YouTube with Karen Hunter. Really enjoy listening to that dialogue and how organic and how in depth. I just love the way he articulate the culture and how he resonate that culture to us and how he brings it to us. And I do like the debates. I listen to a lot of debates. So I've been listening to the Saneter TV, Saneter Studio, the House of Consciousness for a long time. I've been introduced to many characters, many people in our history. I do like some of the content that they put out. I do not appreciate or do I endorse a lot of the negative stuff that take place on that channel. I have big respect for Saneter for putting out the channel and the platform. But again, we're all in different level of repairing our character and each of us as an individual. That is where the channel kind of really, have issues with the kind of language is used, the amount of profanity, the mudslinging, it's a lot of that is unnecessary. A lot of that unnecessary. And it gets in the way of getting the content to spread out because they do take on some very important and sensitive topic that we are discussing in the community. But because of the way it's packaged, anybody can come on there and say anything. Sometimes there's challenge, but the most important problem is the attitude and the disrespect and the profanity, that is displayed on a regular basis. Even though a Saneter is taking steps to try to control that, to check that, to try to put up, big old labels on the screen, no profanity, to try to curtail that because it does slow down the spread of the channel and it does hinder the channel. I cannot watch that channel with my family. And they do have good content, especially when they bring Jabari on there. They have content, good content. But then, you don't know when they may use those big old words. And another thing that they use over there a lot, that I really think that they need to really rethink that. And I think Saneter need to rethink that, is the use of the N-word. It is used so frequently, so outlandishly, and they try to remix it and try to sanitize it and try to make it acceptable. And I've all kind of explanation for why we should use the N-word is acceptable. And none of that wash. We need to let that word die and we bury it and we just move on. Call ourselves new terminology, African, Black, whatever you want to call it. But we certainly need to get rid of that N-word. It's not acceptable. I don't want my children listening to that. I'm thinking that it's normal to be calling other African people by that word. It's a despicable word. It's rooted in our enslavement, rooted in our degradation, and we should get rid of it. Don't know why Saneter even tolerates it. You know what I mean? But again, we're all in different levels of repair. And as a people, repairing is necessitated in this time. It's important that we repair our own character and our own self. Self-repairing is vital for us. Now, one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up is that Saneter brought a guest on his program recently by the name of Dr. Clyde Winters. And he's well-known in the conscious community. But Clyde Winters have some very, very pseudo arguments and claim. And I was very disappointed that this man had the doctorate under his name. And I'm concerned that a young African who may come on that channel and see that channel and see a doctor and think that this man information is credible and the way he's presenting it, it's really a disservice to our community. A lot of the claims he made about Africa and the Aboriginal, the indigenous to America, it's all false argument. It's false. I mean, there's no other way. With all due respect to the elders, his argument is false. His claim, most of it is false. It don't stand on no grounds. No grounds. Most of it. I listened to it briefly, and I collected information. He talked about there's possible settlement in America, over 130,000 years ago, mischaracterizing the report by this archaeologist, Paulette something her name is. They discovered these mastodon bones in California, and she concluded that human interacted with the bones. I think the bones was of mastodon bones. And that's it. There's no other evidence to corroborate. There's no archaeology, nothing to corroborate that. And in archaeology, that's not enough to make that bold claim. But Clyde Winters would take that piece of information and run with it. Present it on Saneter as some type of facts, and it's not. So we have to understand. I mean, right now, the earliest present is about of human beings in Americas is around 24,000 years ago. 24,000 years ago, and that's being generous. The consensus is between 12 and 14,000 years ago is where the consensus is, where you start to really see human presence in North and Central and South America. So the whole claim of Homo sapiens or human being in the Americas more than 100,000 years ago is not proven. There's no science to support that. And the way the elder brought that across on the platform was unacceptable and irresponsible. So yeah, I don't know what to say, And then he mentioned about God creating two sets of Homo sapiens, and one went to Australia, and then he created another one that went somewhere else, and it's just no evidence to support these God created two sets of human beings. We have only one human species that emerged out of Africa and went in different directions around the world. We have no evidence of any other thing happening on this earth. Humanity evolved in Africa. Africa is the birthplace of all mankind. All hominid species emerge out of Africa. And that's the reality. There is no multiple origin of Homo sapiens, but Africa is the birthplace of humanity. Oh wow. One of his claim as well that I find to be very, very I don't know, exotic. I'm just trying to be, I'm trying to be respectful of the elder, but his claim is way off. He says that he started going through some of the so-called tribe, the nations in West Africa, and based on the name of those nations, those so-called tribes, he was linking them with nations and tribes in Kemet, in ancient Egypt, and provide no evidence. Just because the names sound alike, look alike, he established that and used that to show that, the people in West Africa actually came from Kemet. No evidence to support that. As a doctor, as a scholar, you don't do those type of things without showing evidence, And he went on to make another claim that Bantu people migrated from ancient Kemet and spread out into Africa, into West, Central, and Southern Africa. Those are his claims, like the Khoisan people and Bantu people in general. He was claiming that came out of Kemet, came out of Egypt, and there's no evidence to support that. Matter of fact, the evidence is the opposite. The evidence that I'm seeing right now is the opposite. People migrated from Central Africa and Southern Africa, migrated into Eastern Africa and into Kemet. Between if you look at the Central African area where the Great Lakes are, that is considered to be the birthplace of mankind along the Rift Valley. The Nile Valley, because the Nile go all the way to Central Africa, into the Great Lakes. So, it's just amazing how we can, we have elders and scholars amongst us that can use and twist information and feed it back to us. Oh, then he made another claim about Black Irish in the Caribbean, so-called Caribbean, and in Jamaica and Trinidad, and how the Black Irish then was kicked out of Europe and sent to Jamaica and the Caribbean, and many of the Caribbean people actually descendants from Black Irish. No evidence. This pure made-up fantasy that is being pushed by a lot of people in our community who are trying to distort and trying to mischaracterize our history. It's as if our history is not glorious enough. Our history is not glamorous enough. So we have to go and make up some other history. He made a claim about Oliver Cromwell was a black man. Can you imagine that, my family? That Oliver Cromwell was a black man. That those type of things are irresponsible and false. And I have to say something, and I just want the family to know that, we have to be careful. Not because someone got a title under their name. Go and research and check what they're doing. Because sometimes they're doing a disservice to our community and they're deceiving our people. And they will come under the guise of blackness. They will come under the guise of, pro-African and pro-black and spreading false information. So we have to be very careful. And I don't want to disrespect the elder. I have tremendous amount of, he may be a wonderful person in real life. You know what I mean? But the information he presented was inaccurate and false. And I just want that to be known. I just want to, so, I do like the scholarship. I do like to listen to different ideas. For years I've listened to the Amin Ra Squad, the Dagger Squad, House of Consciousness, Saneter Studio, and many others over the years have come along with good information, good discussion. But recently I decided to take a step back from all of that, because I realized that they're not committed to the liberation of our people. They're not committed to repairing and improving themselves. It's all about egotistical, grandstanding and, and it's a sport. I do like good debate. I do like when the ideas get challenged. And that's what attracts me to that environment. When the Hebrew Israelite them come up with their ideas and try to prove that Moses walked the earth or a Red Sea was parted, and when you press them to find the evidence, there is no archaeological evidence to support their claim. I like when someone is challenged on their ideas to provide evidence, to provide sources to support their argument. That's what I like about that environment. But what I don't like about it is the attitude, is the character, is the profanity, the N-word. It's just unacceptable. But otherwise I do enjoy. I especially enjoy listening to Brother Jabari. And for a moment I did enjoy listening to Brother Unk from the Amin Ra Squad and Brother Garfield from the Dagger Squad, and the others, Ujahu and Asar Himotep. It's a big cast of great scholars over there. But only a few of them is committed to real character, to real liberation. The most of them over there just a sport. They're not committed to the liberation of people. They're not committed to ending the hunger and the homelessness around the world, to freeing our people. They talk a good game, but they don't know nothing about what's going on in Africa on the ground. All they do is repeating conspiracy theories and regurgitating old 1970s concept about Africa and the IMF and Bill Gates and aid and the same old argument. They don't know the situation on the ground. They don't understand the dynamics on the ground today. It's just a general media concept about Africa. And I notice it. You ask them what's going on in Zimbabwe, what the situation is. They don't know. But, I give them props. I give them, props for at least they're engaging in some intellectual activity. That's quite stimulating. So for years I've been watching them, and I just wanted to acknowledge that I've just recently watched Clyde Winters on Saneter Studio on the YouTube channel, and I disagree with the vast majority of the subject that he brought up and the claims that he was making. I think it's inappropriate for somebody with a doctor in his name, with his or her name, to be making those type of claims. But and I'm sure his response would be, "Oh, my mind is full up of white people and white scholarship," and that's where most of those pseudo thinkers hide behind, is that, whiteness and blackness, and they use those kind of phrase and kind of card to get you. If you demand proof, you're a white scholar, white science and white argument. Anytime you press them and to ask for proof, they use the card of, it's a white man this and white man that and white people this and white people that. I'm very critical of white people and what white people have done to our people, but I'm not going to use that to come to you with falsehood. I'm not going to use white people argument or whiteness, which is a very serious problem in this world. Whiteness and white supremacy is very real, and I'm very opposed and I'm very critical of it. But I'm not going to use that to come to you with false information, to try to pretend that this information is proven. And that's a tactics that a lot of these scholars use within our movement. They come in saying, they make these claims, and if you challenge them, they say you're coming with a white mind or white thinking or white this. They use the white card against you. And because our people's already orientated to a resistance to whiteness, they tend to favor that kind of rhetoric. They play on the people lack of understanding. But that's why I named this podcast Clear Thinking with Brother Dulani. And I want to thank you for listening to me. I know I went on a little longer than I normally do, but I decided to kind of give a look of background to me and some of the stuff I'm involved in and some of the comments I'll be making as time goes on, because I am observing a lot of the discussion taking place in our community, and I will be commenting on that. I will be commenting on the Palestinian situation soon. Also, the situation in Haiti. I will be commenting on that situation as well. So bear with me, people. I don't want to really make these podcasts too long. So I made us, pick subject and just spend 10, 15 minutes on them. Because we're trying to build and grow the channel. And I want you to like and subscribe to this channel, help this channel to grow, help the algorithm to push the message out. Because I will be giving my analysis. I will be coming to you with clear and critical thinking. That is what I'm going to be coming with. That's what I can assure you that I will work to present to you. And I am also repairing myself. I'm in that process of self-repair. And I want you to join me on this journey as we analyze some of the issues that we are faced with. And I'm hoping that as time goes on and I can go live, we can interact. And please leave your comment in the comment section and just let me know what you think about this discussion and maybe some issues I should be discussing as well. Because I don't know everything. I'm still learning. I'm just fortunate to be surrounded by quality people, far more intelligent and knowledgeable than I am. So it have been able to bless me with some understanding that I can share with you, So thank you so much, my people, for listening to me. And until we talk again, this has been Clear Thinking with Brother Dulani. What good, my people? What good?